A survey recently has shown that there's been a major decline of video game pre-orders in Europe, with 12% of gamers across UK, France, Germany and Spain either stopping or decreasing the number of games that they pre-order. Today we discuss pre-orders in first-person view. Hello everyone and welcome to First Person View, a show where I, Kados, share my thoughts on various trends and events occurring in the gaming industry. For today's topic we'll be discussing game pre-orders. As reported by MCV, which is the market for computer and video games, the pre-orders were down by a significant amount. I won't go into the details on the report itself, but we will discuss possibilities for this decrease in pre-orders and how it affects the overall industry. So what is pre-ordering? Well, pre-ordering for games is reserving a copy of the game which has not yet been released, in essence guaranteeing that you get a copy when it is released. In the past this may have been an issue, as the games industry and retailers were a little unsure on how many copies of certain games would sell in the original shipment. Today, however, that is not as much an issue, except for rare cases, such as Grand Theft Auto 5 and with Amiibos, at least the first few waves, where demand greatly outmatched supply. Sometimes these pre-ordered games will come with a little trinket, such as a fold-out map or other item to reward customers for buying an early copy, in essence a token thanking them. These were the days when pre-ordering was much more customer-oriented. However, over time, as more retailers stocked games, more games being released, and with the rise of online retailers and digital distribution, the shift went from pre-orders being customer-oriented to them being publisher/retailer-oriented, in essence serving the needs of the business rather than the needs of the customer. So why are pre-orders important to publishers and retailers? The most important point is that a large number of game sales are occurred in the launch window. That is the first few weeks their game is available. After that, with a few exceptions, the amount of game sales decreases each week. Therefore, to maximise profits for retailers and the publishers, it is in their best interest to sell more copies during this time before the game comes less in demand and generate less profits. More sales during the launch window also tends to lead to further sales through word of mouth about friends telling their friends about the latest game, as well as increasing the initial sales figures. And with massive numbers, like GTA 5 selling 11.21 million copies in the first 24 hours, it then prompts other customers who have not yet purchased the game to buy it, because it's the hot new thing, which leads to more sales and more sales. Pre-orders can also help show how much public interest there is in a title, prompting publishers to increase last-minute promotions, as well as retailers to more accurately stock shelves. So how do publishers and retailers convince us to pre-order? Quite simply, they give us some incentive to create a call to action for us to pre-order, things which add value to the game itself. This can include the aforementioned statues, maps, soundtracks, etc. However, since downloadable content has become a much bigger thing, it includes things such as extra characters, costumes, XP boosts, missions and bonus weapons. Downloadable content, shouldn't that be a part of the game? Yes and no. Firstly, pre-order DLC is different to day one DLC. We'll cover that another day. But from a consumer point of view, all of this content should be part of the core product. Therefore, the sentiment from customers is that this extra content was cut from the original game, with the intention of increasing pre-orders and early sales. This effectively weakens the core product, the game, and aggressively makes us, the customer, feel bad by not pre-ordering because we are missing out on something we feel entitled to, or should be part of what we paid for. There are some things which are considered pretty non-offensive in this regard, and is what pre-order bonuses should include. This is non-essential stuff like novelty weapons, exclusive titles, or a cool minion. But as the value of the content increases, and seems more essential to the whole game experience, it feels like we are being abused. Such things as costumes and extra missions fall into this middle ground. Now let's see what is offensive to consumers, like, I don't know, maybe locking away certain characters, such as Goro in Mortal Kombat X. Now, there may be a valid reason for this, but it's the responsibility of the publisher to communicate and educate the consumer. Do you feel Goro should be a pre-order bonus? Let me know in the comments. So why have pre-orders decreased? I attribute this to three major factors: customers having difficulty reaching an accurate purchasing decision, unreliable quality control, and the quick decrease in game prices. Firstly, one of the ways we reach a purchase decision, whether to buy a game, is by reviews. By not giving ample time for reviewers to get a copy and to inform the public, it gives us a less than informed decision. An even worse situation is where the publisher tells reviewers what they can and can't say. Shadows of Mordor, which is a great game, had the publishers actually tell reviewers that they could not talk negatively about the game, and publishers even harassed reviewers, saying that they will be blacklisted if they do not follow their conditions. This should simply be stopped altogether. Reviews are to give informed decisions, not to be abused and used as an endorsement for a game. If the customer can more effectively evaluate how much a game or product in general is, the more likely they are to commit to purchasing said product, as well as to feel better about the overall experience. Next up, pre-orders have decreased due to games being overhyped, such as Destiny, underperforming, such as Order 1886, or being unfinished or buggy in release, such as Assassin's Creed Unity. This has resulted in the consumer being much more wary of future games in these franchises, games by these publishers, and just pre-ordering games in general. Like after Assassin's Creed Unity, I'm sure a lot of gamers will think carefully before putting their money down to buy the next installment on release. So yeah, which games have you pre-ordered and been burnt with? SimCity, Assassin's Creed Unity, The Sims 4, Elder Scrolls Online? Anything else? Lastly, pre-orders involve us paying a premium price for a product which has not been released. With increasing retail competition, as well as the sheer volume of new games being released, it means that games drop much quicker in price, or go on sale much more frequently, so a lot of customers will simply wait and buy it at a much lower price. This may require a change in the actual way games are priced. I'll go into pricing another day, but just look at how successful free-to-play has become, as well as indie titles due to their lower barrier entry points. Also kudos to Nintendo and Sega for releasing some of their titles at a lower price point, such as Toad Treasure Tracker and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. So how does this affect me, the customer? This affects us all. Less pre-orders means less money going back into the industry to fund future games, which can result in developer closures, jobs lost, and just less games. A lot of games actually have decent pre-orders with good incentives. However, a few AAA publishers and titles are major contributors to this downward trend and are potentially ruining it for everyone. However, don't immediately rush out and pre-order every game you know about, as this will simply continue this cycle. A lot of this responsibility falls onto the publisher and the ways they need to change. So what should publishers do? Firstly, make sure your game is finished and up to standard. Don't damage a long-running successful franchise just to ensure your latest release makes extra sales. AAA titles, especially those with yearly releases, have a real issue at the moment, with increasing production time and cost, and unfortunately, it is having a negative impact on the market. Next, make sure your pre-order bonus is something valuable to the customer, but doesn't cut anything away from the core product of the game. Remember, customer perception is key. Physical stuff like figurines, artwork books, soundtracks are pretty great. For games with digital pre-order bonuses, make it stuff that is novel and is meant to make the player feel different or rewarded for pre-ordering, but does not punish those that feel like they are missing something important because they did not or could not pre-order. Seriously, publishers, never make your customers or potential customers feel negative feelings, such as buyer's remorse or like they bought a far inferior product. Next, make sure the customer can make an informed decision. Let reviewers get their game copy well ahead of release so they can help the customer reach this informed decision, whether to pre-order the game or not. Do not tell them what they can discuss. Lastly, be careful with the expectations you give customers about your game. Trailers, TV advertisements, interviews, etc. all help build hype, but they can also potentially make our expectations far too great. Sure, this may help assist sales in the short term, but will ultimately lead to long-term franchise damage, or even worse, could affect other games under your publishing umbrella. Don't lie to us aliens, colonial marines. Don't promise us the universe destiny. And just tone back a bit, Peter Molyneux. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about pre-orders, and I welcome you to share your third-person view in the comments below. Are there any games you felt that the pre-order was unjustified? Have you pre-ordered anything recently, and what helped you come to that decision? If you liked this video, please subscribe and check out my first-person view on the significance of females in Final Fantasy. This is Kados logging out.